a vegetable frittata. And instead of having the vegetables inside the egg mixture, we're putting them on the outside of the egg mixture. And first of all, I want to make a dressing, a very simple dressing of balsamic vinegar, about 1/3 cup of balsamic vinegar, and 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. So make the dressing up ahead of time. You can do this a couple days ahead of time. And then give it a little bit of salt and pepper to taste, just a smidge of pepper. And then I'm going to add a little bit of parsley to this. So for our frittata, we're going to start with some green beans in boiling water. So in a pot here, I've got some boiling water. And before I put the beans in, I want to put in some pancetta. This is pancetta, all minced up. This is how you buy it when you buy it in a grocery store, in an Italian deli. And you see how beautiful this is because look at the ratio of meat to fat here. And here it is minced up. These are going to be like our little croutons after they're crispy. So you want about 1/4 pound. And I'm going to put that in a skillet and just get that going and let them crisp up while we do the veggies. And if you get pancetta that it seems to be a little bit too lean, you can always add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. So let's just let that go now. So here we have fresh green beans. And we want to julienne these. And you can either do that on a board with a knife by cutting down the bean into small pieces like that. Or you can use a nifty gadget like this. This is a present that was given to me by my friend Ruth. Put the bean through, pull it through, and look at that. It just cuts it. All right, so in boiling water, we want to give this a little bit of salt now. Let me bring that back to the boil. In go the green beans. And a good way to remember not to overcook a green vegetable is to remember the 7-minute rule. If you cook a green vegetable beyond 7 minutes, you have gone too far. Okay, so while the green beans are in, I get ready a plastic bag full of ice water. And this is what I mean by keeping a green vegetable green. We're going to take the beans from the boiling water, cover that just a jar until it comes back to a boil. I'm going to cook those until they're al dente. Then I'm going to take them out and immediately plunge them into ice water to stop the cooking. And that's going to help keep that vegetable looking green. And you can do that for any green vegetable. Now I've got to come back here and put the heat down on this a little bit because now these are beginning to crisp up. And we're going to take this out. Actually, I should probably drain them because they're a little fatty, so I'll drain them first. And you can do that just on a paper-lined dish. And if there's too much fat in the pan, take it out, but there is hardly anything there. Blot this off and just keep it for later on. You never want to cook green vegetables with a top on. Keeps too many of the enzymes in there, causes the vegetables to turn kind of a grayish color. And here we have carrots that we cooked, again, al dente, and we just want to dice them up. If you wanted to leave them in sticks, you could do that as well. And do the same thing with our zucchini. So we have some zucchini here. And this is raw. We're leaving this raw because zucchini is just tender enough to eat raw. That goes in as much as you want. And we also want some potatoes. So here we've cooked some potatoes until they are also just cooked through but not mushy. We want to cut some of those up to add. So that's enough of that. So that goes in. So now we have our potatoes and our zucchini and our carrots. And now we got to go back here and check our green beans because we want these to remain, as I say, al dente. How will you know? Taste one. Delicious. Okay, so this comes over. I'm going to take these right out of here. Turn this off now because we don't need that anymore. Look at how nice they stayed. And put them right into the water. And that stops that cooking immediately. We do this for any kind of green vegetable. Now I just mush them around in there and then just go right in, take them out onto paper towels. Look at how nice that stayed. You can get your hands right in there now because, of course, this water is cold. And we want to blot those off. I don't want to leave anything behind because you know how hard it is to get good green beans these days? So we blot that off. And this goes into our bowl. So now we have green beans, potatoes, carrots, and zucchini. To make a good frittata, you want at least 4 or 5 large eggs. If your eggs are small, you throw in another one. If you can't have eggs, you could use egg beaters for this, those substitute eggs that you get in the grocery store. So I think 5 eggs is just going to be perfect for this. A little bit of salt goes in. And now we want to whisk in a little bit of air. If you want to put a little bit of cheese in now, you could do that as well. How about some fresh basil? Fresh mint would be nice in this as well. Just going to roll those up and give them a very fine slice, just like that. Now, we want to put a little bit of olive oil in our pan. So a little extra virgin olive oil in the pan. And I like to do this in a non-stick pan. If you want to use a pan that isn't non-stick, we'll make sure that it's well greased. Okay, there's the egg mixture. Now, we put it on over medium-high heat. Put it right into the pan like so. And all we have to do now is watch this. We want to make sure that the eggs cook, but they don't get too brown. So you're going to have to help me watch this now because how I do this is move the uncooked egg to the bottom of the pan as it's cooking around the side. And here's the trick. You see, simply move the egg, pick up the pan, move the egg underneath so everything cooks. I do that several times and you see how beautiful this starts to look. Of course, I want this to be totally cooked, but still moist. And I want the top of the egg to be just firm to the touch. So you keep doing that, pushing the uncooked egg underneath as you go along. Keep doing that so that you get all of that raw egg cooked. And if you're using egg beaters, you just follow the same procedure. If you want to use egg beaters, you could also do this, believe it or not, just with egg whites. So now I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit because now that's getting just a little too high for me, and continue to cook that. All right, now while that's cooking, we have to dress our salad. So there it is. Just give that a little bit more salt and a little bit of pepper. Take some of that dressing and just pour it over the top like that. Then you want to mix this up. Italians love slightly green tomatoes for their salads, and here are 2 that I took out of the garden, and they're really green. And this is a great little knife to use, and you just make very thin slices of green tomato. So there are uses for green tomatoes out there, just like that. Let's cut up some of the cheese that I'm going to put over the top. This is something called ricotta salata. It is salted ricotta cheese, and you can find this in a deli or in your grocery store, an Italian grocery store. We have a nice moist frittata. We can take it off, and we're going to slide it right on to our plate, right in the center, just like that. Isn't it beautiful? You admire that. And then we take these vegetables and start to build them right over the top with the dressing. So this is eaten cold and hot at the same time. Look at how pretty that looks. Then we put on those cracklings right over the top. And then we add the cheese over the top. And then we garnish with a little bit of, you bet, that green tomato. So there you have it.